Too Close for Podcast, episode 214. Strangely enough, it's production number 214. They finally caught up with themselves. If that doesn't mean the production number is going to stay on track, well, for at least the next 2 weeks, then it goes all goofy again.
Well, at the end of the season, we should give the correct
order.
timeline.
We'll do that in the wrap-up, the season 2 recap.
Yeah. So look forward to that. When April was there, when April wasn't there.
Oh.
Why?
The one episode Sarah wasn't in.
Yeah, maybe April was skiing.
Which was explained. Maybe she's skiing now
But
because Sarah was skiing last night.
still, this is the second episode I can remember where April is just a
Gone
even,
with no explanation. First aired February 9th, 1982. This one's called Charlie's Last Hurrah.
Alright, so this week we find Muriel, Jackie, and Sarah making breakfast when Monroe arrives with the mail. And apparently he's broken the mailbox, thinking that it was just stuck. So he's destroyed their mailbox. But he brought the mail up, so it's kind of at least he has a good heart. I don't know. What do you think, Marty?
He had good intention.
And here's another weird thing, because right there on the wall, there's a thing that says mail, and like something that is a basket or hand woven, like a sock or there's some macrame or something up there that says mail, and I forget what it says on the other side. But Monroe has taken it upon himself just to jam up the mailbox. So one of the letters is for Jackie from Brad, apparently her boyfriend. Oh, another letter from Brad.
Where Brad is, we don't know.
And they rarely referenced. I think the first time he's been referenced since we first were introduced to the Brad character, which is weird. But then again, they do cut out like 2.5 minutes from each of these episodes. So maybe that's what they're cutting out. It's hard to tell. So one of the letters is from Brad. And then there's another letter from Charlie Davis. And this could be a drinking game for this show. Every time they say Charlie Davis, you're going to be drunk in about 8 minutes. Because they say Charlie Davis every time they reference this character for like the first half of this show. And Charlie Davis is the creator of Darby, which is Monroe's favorite cartoon. We also find out that Charlie Davis was an apprentice to Henry. Did I just call him?
Yeah.
Well, let's keep that in. Was an apprentice to Henry back in the day. And then, but Henry he's like, oh, this guy's a jerk. He's always pulling these pranks. Very unprofessional and hurtful, some of these pranks. Henry has no time for this guy, and this is not the first time that a letter from Charlie Davis has arrived. So Henry's going through the mail, and he's just like, oh, Charlie Davis, throws in the trash. Just then, the phone rings, and I believe Jackie answers the phone. Is that correct?
Sarah.
Sarah. So it was not correct. And guess who it is? It's Charlie Davis. So Henry ends up inviting him for dinner, and the whole family's surprised by this. So then Henry collaborates with Monroe, and they decide to pull a prank on Charlie. This prank involves Monroe going out and getting a delivery boy's costume, delivery man, and Henry says no hat. So Monroe says no hat, no tip, right? Got it? Cheap pie, not a good pie because nobody's going to eat this pie. Classic Monroe.
He shows up with the hat.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Well, from about a minute from now.
Later, Charlie arrives, and Henry is expecting some kind of prank from him, like the joy buzzer or something. And then Charlie gives Muriel a silver spoon, and Henry doesn't trust any of this because he knows what a jerk this guy Charlie is. They haven't spoken for 30 years. I forgot to mention that.
Wow, so we're all about squashing beefs.
This season, we're settling up.
This last week and this week in particular. But the brotherly hate was a 40-year squabble, right?
Yeah, a little longer. So that means...
And who's the equal factor in both cases? It's Henry. Something to think about.
He does tend to overreact and hold a grudge. But I think in this case, spoiler alert, completely justified.
Mm-hmm.
So after he gives this gift for the baby, he tells Henry that he always thought he was a better artist than he ever was.
He should have smelled the BS right there.
Yeah. Plus, he's dying. So immediately, that breaks Henry. That shakes him up. So Muriel and Henry go into the kitchen and throw the most disturbing looking food onto a platter. Like the meat is burnt. Looks like a big thing of roast beef.
It looks
or
like
something.
a big pile of, yeah.
Looks burnt.
And yet all the vegetables not cooked at all. From what I could tell anyway.
Plus,
I thought they were trying to get their revenge on Charlie with that food.
Oh, make him sick.
And here's a slice of cheesecake for you.
Cheesecake mishak. So just then, the doorbell rings. Charlie answers the door. And it's Monroe wearing what looks to be a pilot's outfit, not a delivery man's outfit. But he had the hat, so I'm thinking, there's a subtext to this show. He was going to save some money. He's like, oh, if I bought the delivery man's outfit, the same price, I could get the pilot's outfit with a hat. And who would know? So Monroe arrives and throws a pie into Charlie's face. And of course, Henry's all, oh, what are you doing, Monroe? Freaks out because he's dying. This guy's dying. That's Act 1. No. So the next day, Charlie stops by and asks Henry to help him cheat on his wife. Basically, he wants to hook up with this stewardess that he met, but she's got a friend. So Henry agrees to this because it's his dying wish or something. So they end up going to a restaurant to meet these women. Charlie quickly leaves with his date at Henry's urging, while Henry stays with this girl in a red dress named Roxanne. And we also learn that the other woman's name that Charlie left with was named Carol. So just then, Muriel, Jackie, and Sarah arrive at the restaurant. So at this point, we find out that Charlie has sent them there for a free dinner. What a jerk. Jackie and Sarah see their father with the woman named Roxanne, and Henry sees that his wife and daughters are on the other side of the restaurant, and he freaks out and wants to leave. Then the girl he's with demands a kiss before they leave. And then Muriel notices because they make a spectacle of themselves and says that she's leaving and going home to call a lawyer. And then several people in the restaurant, everybody, they're making, like I said, attracting a lot of attention. So then she gets like 3 people trying to give her, 3 lawyers give her cards. And that's Act 2. So later, this could be either later that night or the next, no, it's later that night, I'm thinking. Charlie shows up to laugh at Henry and enjoy his prank. Henry tells him that Muriel is on a plane to Chicago to see her mother and that his kids won't even speak to him. After Charlie leaves, Muriel comes out of the bedroom and they all laugh at Charlie because the joke's on him. Act 3. Boom.
And that ends with the rare kiss between Henry and Muriel, something we just do not see very often. Guest stars this week, Charlie Davis, who drew Darby, Monroe's favorite. You would think Cosmic Cow would be Monroe's favorite, but no loyalty there. We also had guest stars in the restaurant, a bunch of lawyers, I guess you could say. We had Carol and Roxanne. We also had the waiter, and we also had the tripping waiter. You always got to have that guy in there. He had no purpose other than to come in and drop that thing.
That's not the same waiter. It was 2 different waiters.
I think it's somebody else.
Wow.
We also have Cosmic Cow references. We don't get Cosmic Cow referenced by name. We just see the drawings, and we see the drawing desk.
He's working.
Yeah. I wonder where those drawings are now.
In the Mint or the Smithsonian.
Henry Sweaters. This was a 2-sweater episode, not counting the sweater that didn't have a college on it. Penn State University and a very brightly colored Iowa State University. Monroe was wearing stripes right off the bat. First scene. Who's notably absent?
April.
With no explanation whatsoever. Maybe she's skiing. Maybe she's the one driving the El Camino in front of the house in the beginning of the episode. Yes, we started with an El Camino drive-by. We had one-sided phone conversation. Now in my notes it just says Charlie to Henry, but turns out Sarah picked the phone up first. You thought it was Jackie, so there was a bit of confusion about that. I thought that neither of them picked it up. 6 instances of Henry pointing. We also get Muriel's bump, as far as Andrew mentions. That got some good laughs of her trying to get up and sit down. Is this show shot in front of a studio audience? According to what I've read online, parts of it are and parts of it aren't. And the restaurant sequence had to have been because of obnoxious clapping and laughing and whatnot.
But I think, like, his hair changes. Like, it's disheveled and then it's straight. So I think they probably record the rehearsal and then the lives, and then they bring an audience in. That's what I think, so.
Because we had the disheveled hair that goes back and forth. If you want to drive yourself nuts when you watch this episode, watch Henry's hair in the restaurant. The intro was the classic short intro with Monroe in the chair. We get 2 instances of the one-note music cue. I'm going to give this one a borderline 4 on a grade of 1 to 5.
It's pretty high.
I liked it. Bizarre odd happenings. Well, the whole series of pranks. And other than the hair continuity, we also had the instance of, Charlie, come in. He was already in. Charlie was stepping on Muriel's cues. I think.
Yeah, it wasn't the best blocking and...
Nor was it the best pot roast.
Oh. Who would have eaten this?
I don't even think Monroe touched that.
What did we learn?
That Henry will be forgiven again and again and again, including next week.
And also, Monroe has first pecking order in breakfast. He shows up with the mail that he's broken the mailbox, but he still gets the first plate of food.
Yeah, here's a pre-made plate of food for you, Monroe.
Well, you could tell they had been working on it for a little while, so.
Next week, another convoluted episode. More of Henry getting in trouble. There's some weird stuff happening next week, and there's also a bit of a controversy involving next week's episode. Next week is the last weekend. Henry takes Jackie and Sarah on a skiing trip.
It all ties in.
And controversy involving one-sided phone conversations. Well, that's all next time.
You can hear my show on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Create custom playlists. Rate and review my show on Stitcher. And over 4 million car dashboards.
On demand and on the go. No downloading, no syncing, no wasted memory. Stream your favorite podcasts. Don't have Stitcher? Download it free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store.